What if the silence you're hearing from heaven isn't a rejection, but a divine test meant to reveal what's real in your faith? You've been praying, fasting, showing up, trying to stay on fire for God, but everything around you feels spiritually quiet, emotionally numb, and painfully delayed. Don't miss this warning. God often tests in silence before he trusts you with more. The first sign he's testing your faith is delay that feels unnatural. Doors that should have opened are slammed shut. Promises you thought were near now feel distant, and your heart starts to wrestle with doubt. Yet Isaiah 40:31 reminds us that those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength, not because waiting is easy, but because it separates the desperate from the devoted. The second sign is spiritual dryness, when the Bible feels like just words on a page, when worship no longer moves you, when you can't cry, can't feel, can't connect. And yet in that emotional silence, God is watching if you'll still choose him when the thrill is gone. This is the job level testing, where your love isn't proven in abundance, but in ashes. Third, God tests through isolation, not just loneliness, but being misunderstood, overlooked, and even abandoned by those you trusted most. Because in isolation, your dependence shifts from people to presence. Look at Jesus before the cross. His closest disciples slept through his agony in Gethsemane, but he still prayed, still obeyed, still surrendered. The fourth sign is temptation disguised as opportunity. When something appears good, easy, and logical, but it quietly contradicts what God told you, and suddenly you're face to face with your own hunger, like Jesus in the wilderness, tempted to turn stones into bread. Yet he refused the shortcut because he trusted the process. And the fifth, most overlooked test is repetition. When you're called to do the right thing over and over with no applause, no reward, no sign it's working, but you stay faithful anyway. It's in these daily quiet acts of obedience where legacy is built, because the small is where God watches closely. If you're in a season that feels still, dry, or even painful, it's not always demonic. Sometimes it's divine. Sometimes silence is sacred. And if you feel like quitting, don't. You might be moments away from graduation. God is not ignoring you. He's observing you, weighing what's in your heart, testing if your worship is tied to outcomes or rooted in truth. Hebrews 11:6 says, he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Not casually, not occasionally, but with consistency, even in silence. So here's the real challenge. If God stayed quiet for the next 6 months, would you still praise him? Would you still serve, give, forgive, resist sin, and walk in purpose with no confirmation? Because that's the test, unseen, unspoken, but deeply spiritual. If you're facing delay, dryness, isolation, temptation, or repetition, don't retreat. You're being refined. And once you pass the test, the silence will break, and God will move in ways you didn't even see coming.